See, there's another thing I want to go ahead and point out because imagine just a barrage of fuck you while simultaneously, having to take the stance of, hey, considering the set of skills that I got, you may need me one day. You may never expect to need the skills that I got, but you might need me one day. So, if you've basically been going and talking about me like I'm not even here and trying to play head games, it might end up going ahead and changing the willing and able part to just able. Because for willing, you're usually going to want to be nice, give some reason to the person that could basically act as your coastal taxi driver to be able to ferry you right to the naval station that you're supposed to be docked at. I'm saying, in order to be capable of doing that too, there are variables that most people don't understand and don't think about. Like for example, you need to be able to make sure you got the proper approval, not only from, the Navy or the Army, based on which actual uh which actual station that you're going to be going at and going to be staying at. And keep in mind, these stations, some of them are as big as entire states in the United States. So that is a big boat. Remember the whole "don't touch the boats"? Well, another factor to go ahead and keep in mind on that. First, Coast Guard needs to get notified, then proper branch of the military. Obviously, that specific branch would end up going ahead and reaching out to the Department of Defense. Keep in mind there are communication, equipment directly on board to be able to, get the approval because of the factor of, authorized and unauthorized vessels, in intercontinental waters, based on the actual business being done. We want to make sure that it's clarified that the business being done would be assisting, actively enlisted and active duty members, who ended up not making it to the dock on time. So that way they're still capable of being able to, get to the boat to do their fucking job. So that being said, somebody that's capable of doing that, yeah, that's somebody that could be an asset. I have to go ahead and also teach you about, like certain safety precautions that could end up being taken. Like, for example, ultimately, when it comes down to actual, ocean depth water and everything, in order to not end up burning yourself out energy wise, if you go ahead and take your life vest and instead of having it on your upper body, you go ahead and put it, between the legs and the thighs. Ultimately, that prevents you from having to go ahead and continuously kick, depleting your body's actual energy in order to be able to, extend your survival rate and capability. When it comes down to rations and everything, you're going to want to make sure that you have water purifier. You're also going to want to make sure that you have some way, shape, or form to be able to, in case of, incapability of being able to shoot a flare gun, you're going to want to make sure that you have buoyant lights, glow sticks, to be able to give a signal in case of capsizing. You need to understand exactly what to do if there's a hull breach that ends up going ahead and first end up hitting the electronic circuitry. Not to mention that, but ultimately is the hull breach from the stall or harbor, from the hull or starboard. There's a lot of different variables that end up coming along with it. Not to mention that, but ultimately the weight of the actual vessel ends up going ahead and mattering because, when it comes down to the, low tide, fresh off the dock, you're going to have to deal with sandbars and everything in that aspect. But when you're actually getting into intercontinental waters, you're going to want to make sure you have a larger vessel because of the factor that ultimately you're also going to be going against the elements. And the ocean is the most dangerous thing on the planet, all right? The ocean has the same levels of danger as space.